Corporate greed is everywhere, and we can't escape it. No one owns anything anymore, and if you want to own something, you're being fooled. You want to own a book? Well, too bad, because you bought it through the Kindle store, so Amazon owns it, and they can take it away whenever they like. You want to own a PS5 game? Well, again, too bad. You own the license to play the game, and that can be revoked at any point in time. Your physical disc means nothing. It is just a download key. And this has got to the point where people choose piracy. If buying isn't owning, then piracy isn't stealing. And that is what most people think. Now, there's been a huge crackdown on piracy lately, okay? Companies are fed up of losing millions and millions, and they don't realise it's because of their own business practices. But this starts to hurt very small communities in very big ways. And this has recently happened to the manga community. And we're really not happy. 7,000 titles were purged from MangaDex. Now that doesn't seem like a big deal, because most people in the anime piracy space, they think, oh well, you know, Kiss Anime's down, I'll go to some other website where I can watch it, and then, you know, a new portal will be up eventually and it will retain all the same stuff on the server. That's not what's happening with MangaDex, and it's not what's happening in the manga industry at all. MangaDex as a website hasn't been purged. This is not a fight against MangaDex from the publishers, and it's not a fight against the users from MangaDex. It's a very awkward middle ground that is hurting everyone. Now let me tell you why it's hurting everyone. A lot of the purged titles were out of print, never officially licensed or printed, or fan translations of classics that were never translated, or obscure gems that were never going to get translations. And now, fans have no legal or alternative way to access them. This isn't just piracy being clamped down on, it's not just manga disappearing sort of temporarily, it's the whole community and their work being erased. And what I mean by that is volunteer translators, editors and scanlators spent years working on these things. Their work now exists only in fragments or personal archives, if at all. There's a good chance we have lost some of these forever. Entire communities were built around the works, and now we've just seen them overnight, with no warning, vanish. This was fan preservation, not profit. No one was trying to make money from this. And it's all just been wiped away because of greedy corporate companies, even in a space like manga. And there was no transparency or warning. Users, readers and contributors were blindsided. No formal roadmap on how we're going to get through it, no explanation or discussion beforehand. The purge just happened. If it can happen once without warning, it can happen again. And communities are confused as to where to host their things. Because again, like I said before, there's a good chance some of this may never be retrieved, and this work will have to be repeated, or if not bothered with, disappeared forever. The loss of the archival and cultural nature and value of these things is huge. Some manga were never preserved digitally or physically elsewhere ever. This purge might have erased the only online versions of some works. It's a blow to manga history and digital preservation everywhere. We're not just losing comics, we're losing history. And this signals a broader crackdown in the industry. This is probably the result of pressure from publishers or copyright holders who, by the way, weren't translating and weren't giving us digital access to their comics. And the preemptive legal cleanup MangaDex probably had to do in order to remain a website that could host manga. This sets a very nasty precedent for other sites to follow. More takedowns are definitely coming. This could be the start of a much larger purge across the manga world. And this hurts international fans without access massively. This is the #1 issue. I am very lucky because I'm an English-speaking human. Many fans outside of Japan or the US rely on Scanlations to read manga not officially released in their region or language. Official options are often incomplete, non-existent, delayed by months or years, or completely geo-restricted. For many, MangaDex was the only way to read certain stories, and fans are now being punished for living in the wrong country. It's some of the reasons some of these communities even exist to begin with. The English or Japanese speaking people within these communities and countries helping the rest of their friends, communities, the rest of the whole country have access to these brilliant works. I cannot tell you how many times I've cried like a baby at manga. And some of these works were so impactful to my life. And I had access to them because there was a US/global release of these manga. Like the shonen manga get great treatment. One Piece is available widely, digitally, everywhere. But a lot of these stories are incredible and they will never see the light of day either outside of Japan or outside of the Japanese and English release. And now the fallback of this is that Scanlation teams and readers are now going to start scattering to smaller and riskier platforms. There's going to be harder to find manga everywhere scattered across the internet. I don't know what this says for the future of manga. I don't know what this says for the future of ownership, but I know one thing. We as consumers of media are fed up of not owning anything. We're fed up of not having access to things. And when we do inspirational work to make everything accessible for everyone, we're deemed by these giant corporations as socialist pirates. Well, I'm sorry, but if you didn't give us a way to consume your media or own your media outright, and we create offshoots so that the general public can enjoy this media, then you have no right to take it away. If you want people in other countries who speak Tagalog to read your manga, release a translation in Tagalog. If not, allow the communities to do so and don't touch their works. I sort of understand if you want to take down the English or Japanese versions of very popular mangas that are available online digitally, because those platforms already have a way to be seen and paid for. I get it. But to take down Scanlations that are not available anywhere else, or to geo-restrict further your content so people in smaller countries can't read the manga fairly, is just so silly. You're not losing money to these people. They wouldn't have been able to consume the content anyway. And in fact, you're probably gaining money because you didn't officially scanlate this into their country's language, but now they might buy merch. They might buy plushies and t-shirts and generally be interested in the property that you made unavailable to them. But anyway, I digress. If you want to see some videos on this channel that are a little bit more upbeat or talk about some of these things in detail, like Hunter x Hunter or solo leveling recently I made a video on, go check those out. I promise you, you'll probably have a more fun time listening to me be passionate about a thing that is actually good, instead of being passionate about this awful hit to the small Scanlations community. But thank you for watching, please subscribe and stick around for more Yu-Gi-Oh!